Please welcome to the show, Neema Moraveji. Neema's a lot taller, so I don't sit down till he does. That way I don't look short. I learned that from watching some shows. So Neema, thanks for coming here today.
It's great to see you.
It's a pleasure to have you. Neema, I did some digging into your past, and I have a little quote I want to share. That you were quoted in the Stanford Daily, May 5th, 2013, as saying, quote, "I dropped everything when I realized that what I really wanted to do was change the way the world breathes." So tell us, what did you drop, and in turn, what did you pick up?
Yeah, so that quote refers to a time when I was doing research at Stanford as a postdoc and was doing all kinds of information retrieval research, search interfaces, human-computer interaction work, and was starting to look into behavior change as a topic of research that technology could influence. Now we kind of take it for granted, but at that time, it was a kind of a new topic of research. And I was looking at things like sleep, the way we eat, these kind of behaviors. And on a winter break, it was actually about now, almost 9 years ago, that it became really clear that one of the behaviors that underlies so many of our other areas of our well-being and productivity comes down to breathing. And that is because breathing is kind of like a root behavior. It influences our decision-making processes. It influences our state of mind, our stress, digestion, so many things. It kind of branches out to influence all these other things. And so I said, you know what? If I drop these other areas that I was working on and just focus on that and actually move the needle globally on breathing, on breath awareness, breath regulation, and fluency, that could cascade and create a large amount of greater wellness for more people.
That's great. Well, I totally agree. As you know, our second tenet of wellness is breathing. So when I first met Neema, which was right around the 2013 timeframe, the fact that you were working on this, what then was a prototype, was extremely exciting to us. And we do have a bit of a history. So I met Neema a few years back, around 2013 or 14. The initial Spire product, the Stone, was still in prototype. It was like a big, bulky pager. And we had about 25, 30 employees participate in this study when we were up in Mountain View. And that was great. And then I'm going to ask you about that, but also we did a more official study in conjunction with Stanford, a program called Rethink Stress, where we actually had the actual Stone. And that was a huge success. We had over 400 employees in the US participate in that. Can you share with us just what were some of the learnings you got from the initial when we were helping with the prototype, and then also from the program we did with Stanford?
Well, Michael, I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge you. This was a time period, we were a small company just starting out, building a new type of technology that would monitor people's breathing. And you were willing to put your neck out there and kind of say, I know everything's not ready yet, but this is part of our fundamentals at our company, and we want to be on the cutting edge here. So let's try it. Let's experiment. So we did a kind of diary study with about 30 of your employees, where we had them wear the pager, if you will, this bulky product. It was buggy, the app wasn't working, turn on Bluetooth, all this stuff. And we followed them for about a week and then interviewed them afterwards to talk to them about their experience. And one of the things we learned from that was doing away with fluff and really focusing on what was providing the core value, the core benefit to people, and emphasizing that. And the learnings from that we took into this larger study that we ran with Stanford called Rethink Stress. And I would say that the biggest thing we learned, we were talking about reducing people's self-reported stress by about 20% after a month of using the product. But what was fascinating about that is because there's a lot of ways to reduce your stress. You could be exercising more, you could be meditating, you could be eating better, having better relationships, and engaged in your well-being. But what was so interesting about this is the time commitment was so minimal to using the product. Just getting a notification that things were happening in your physiology that you may not be aware of, but were related to your stress and related to your well-being, and that you could be notified of that and then do something about it, namely take a deep breath, shift your physiology. That little nudge at the right time, I mean, you're talking about a minute a day, 2 minutes a day at the right time, without you having to kind of think about it. It would just kind of come to you. That was really what was creating these benefits. Yeah. And so having small time commitment, but significant measurable results, I think that really fits to the lifestyle of today's knowledge worker that is trying to be productive and doesn't have a lot of time to.
I totally agree. And the studies we did show people had great effect when they were able to identify, not on their own, but through the use of the Spire technology, these biofeedback that their bodies are giving them, but we just tend to ignore them and move on to the next thing. Speaking of the next thing, so the Stone was your initial product, which is a wearable you can strap onto a belt or a bra strap, but now you have a new product called Health Tag.
Correct.
So it's still measuring the same things as a Stone, but can you share with the audience a little bit about why the evolution into the Health Tag?
Well, I mean, let me ask a question. Who likes charging another device in your life? No hands are going to go up. Nobody likes managing another thing. And that was pretty evident from a lot of user interviews that we ran. People want the data. Their data is interesting. The feedback's interesting, but not if it comes at the cost of more cognitive overhead, having to manage a device, think about it. So what we did is we went back and said, what would be the ideal user experience for this kind of data capture? Talking about sleep, physical activity, stress. And that is to not have to think about it, to make it invisible. That's really what the experiences that we were after. So what the Health Tag is, and actually I brought one to show you. So this is the tag. And what these are is, you get a set of these. You get like 8 of these, and you can pop that open. It's like a capsule. Yeah. So you take one of those out, and then the back of each of these it's got an adhesive on it. So you take that adhesive off, and you simply stick this on the inside, wait for it, of your underwear.
Okay.
Okay? You stick this on the inside of your bra. You stick this on the inside of your underwear. And that's it. Just one time, and you don't have to think about it again. It's automatically syncing with your phone. You put one on each underwear or one on each bra. It doesn't need to be charged. You don't need to think about it, and it's measuring heart rate, breathing, sleep, activity, 24/7, everything for over a year.
Wow, that's great.
So you get a
so
pack
this one will last for a year.
The pack will last over a year.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Yeah,
so you mentioned a little bit about some of the data that's being tracked. Why is that data being tracked? Why do you find it to be so valuable for people?
Well, I mean, there's 2 categories of use. One is in the moment. So one of our tenets of Spire is being actionable, having the data be actionable, not just tracking for data's sake. Actionability is key. That's why one of the things we focus on is respiration. We have a dedicated respiration sensor because breathing is something that you can change in the moment immediately, just because of the way the brain works and the neurology behind it. So that's one category. It's kind of real-time feedback. Hey, you might be getting stressed right now. Your breathing is becoming shallow. Take a deep breath. That's kind of one. Or things like you haven't moved in a while, and so on. The other category is longitudinal. So looking at trends, looking at your trajectories. Where are you heading? Is this month becoming more sedentary or more stressful, or are you sleeping better over time? And so that's why you need both categories of data.
That's great. So one more question for you.
Sure.
What's next for Spire?
Well, it's interesting. So this product right now, it's in all the Apple stores around the world, and we continue to sell and support that. But one of the kind of surprising things that we saw with people interested in the Health Tag are health providers. So with Stone, we're used by a lot of therapists, a lot of health coaches. But with the Health Tag, remote patient monitoring has been a promise of the industry for over a decade, but has not really come to fruition yet. This tool allows a physician to put this on a patient or prescribe it to a patient, and then they can guarantee they're going to get a year's worth of continuous data without having to bug the patient and say, remember to charge it, remember to wear it, all that kind of stuff. That goes away. So we're actually starting to work with hospitals, doing clinical trials and doing all kinds of more medical work around respiratory disorders and otherwise.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Congratulations on all your success so far. And thank you for coming here and being with us today. So Neema Moraveji, everybody, about a round of applause.
Thank you, guys.